shop owner has bought in the Santa or in any Raitu Bazaar.
एक ही जगह पे मिलके those type of plastics are known as thermosetting plastics. Comparison, there are 3 types:
up, down, right, left.
I am not inferior to anyone.
We are Swaras. We are top on the Everest. Congratulations.
I want to be a leader.
Good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, friends. I am J.Keerthi from Gowlidoddi institution. I am going to deal a subject biology. So I am going to teach a lesson coordination in life process. What is that? Coordination in coordination in life process. My dear friends, human body is called as a wonderful machine. Yes, yes. Why? Because number of process takes place within our body. So, can you tell some examples of life process? Yes, exactly right answer. What are they? Yes, they are digestion. And the next, they are respiration, circulation, excretion, so reproduction. So these are some examples of the life process. So why this process occurs in our body? Did you know that? Yes, because these process occurs in the helps of the survival of the organisms and also in continuing its race. So what are these life process? Can you tell? So what are life process? Living organisms have some basic process that occur in the body cell of organisms. These process helps in the survival and perpetuation is nothing but continuation of its race. Such process are called life process. So what are the life process you have studied in the previous lessons? Can you tell? Yes, exactly right answer. What are they? They are nutrition, respiration. Yes, what are they? The first one is nutrition and the second one is respiration and the third one is reproduction and fourth one is circulatory system and fifth one is muscle system. So out of these process, what are the process that helps in the survival of the organisms? Yes, exactly right answer. What are they? They are nutrition, respiration, circulation and excretion that helps in the survival of the organisms. Then what about coordination? Yes, coordination, it helps in the perpetuation. It's nothing but continuation of its race. So all this process, my dear friends, all this process occurs in our body by specific systems like respiratory system, digestive system, etc., which takes place, which are inbuilt in our body at specific places and carry out their specific functions in a coordinated manner. So we have studied each of this process detail in nearly as an isolation separate chapter. So you learned about this system as such. So my dear friends, but all this process in our body takes place in coordination. So our body cannot survive without coordination. So there must be some coordination between different process. So every process is dependent on other to keep the body in good condition. So can you give example? Yes, for example, kick a ball. So all of you look at this here, the boy is kicking a ball. So what are the organs involved? Yes, they are eyes. For the first one is eyes. The eyes helping the knowing the position of the ball to kick to kick a ball, and the next legs, muscular system and to kick the ball, and nervous system to stimulate the muscles to contract and kick the ball, to contract and the bones of the ball to kick a ball. So, to perform one activity, my dear friends, to perform one activity, the functions eyes, muscles and nervous system should coordinate work to kick a ball. So, every process, can you give another example? Yes. So, crossing the road. Here the boy is crossing the road. What are the organs involved? Yes, eyes, ears and legs. So, when we are crossing the road, we have to look at our eyes, ears and legs should coordinate with each other. Otherwise, you may hit a person. So, when we are, suppose we want to do some work, so they should be dependent on others. So, then only we will do the work. So I'm from starting onwards, I'm refer the word that is coordination. So, what is coordination? Did you know the definition of the coordination? Yes, let us see the definition of the coordination. So, coordination is the synchronization between the different organs of the body so that they can work together in harmony to perform the vital activities of life. So, to understand this concept, my dear friends, to understand this concept, we analyze how our digestive system is coordinated with other system as an example. So, let us digestive process. We shall study the digestive process. So, we shall study the digestive process from feeling hungry to utilization of the food, illustrating the interconnected process going on in our body. So, my dear friends, in today's lesson, this involves various steps right from feeling hungry to utilization of the food. So, feeling hungry. How do we know that we are feeling hungry? What makes your feeling hungry? So, let us see. So, it is the smell of the food, taste of the food, sight of the food, need of the food or thought of the food. So, my dear friends, so it is the thought of the food. So, feeling hungry, but what stimulates hunger? My dear friends, what stimulates hunger? What would be the result of the stimulation of hunger? Which system do you think send the signals to make us realize that we are feeling hungry? So, a major cause for feeling hungry. A major cause for feeling hungry lies in the physiology of the blood circulation. So, levels of different substances are generally maintained in the blood mainly by our digestive system. So, one of the major substances is that glucose. So, when the levels of glucose fall in the blood circulation, we get hunger pangs in the stomach. So, my dear friends, what are hunger pangs? Yes, exactly right answer. What are the hunger pangs? Are the hunger contractions of the stomach in the wall. So, this again involves in the production of a series of some proteins which are hormones like ghrelin. What are they? Some hormones like ghrelin. So, secretion of this hormone ghrelin starts in the stomach when it goes empty, and ghrelin is secreted from certain cells in the walls of the stomach. Hunger pang starts to occur in the stomach due to hunger generating signals that reach the brain from the stomach due to the secretion of this hormone called ghrelin. So, it is believed that, my dear friends, it is believed that diencephalin in forebrain and vagus nerve, 10th cranial nerve plays an important role to carrying these signals into the brain. So, hunger pangs continue up to 30 to 45 minutes. So, hunger pangs continue. So, hunger pangs continue up to 30 to 45 minutes. So, increase in ghrelin levels. My dear friends, increase in ghrelin levels results in the sensation of hunger and motivation to consume food. So, see, all of you look at this picture. What is this? So, here hunger stimulates the release of the ghrelin from the stomach, and again the ghrelin is travel in the blood to the hypothalamus where it acts, and again it stimulates the appetite, and again it's go to the eating causes blood levels of ghrelin to decrease. So, hunger. So, what are hungers? The uncomfortable feeling caused by a need for food, and hunger pangs. So, the discomfort felt in the abdominal region associated with the contraction of the empty stomach. So, these are hunger. Next, hunger hormones. What are hunger hormones? Yes, ghrelin and leptin. So, these we called as these are the hunger hormones. So, ghrelin, a hormone secreted by the stomach that acts as an appetite stimulator. So, leptin, so a hormone secreted by 4 fat cells that act as an appetite suppressant. So, my dear friends, so just before only I told that increase in the ghrelin levels results in the sensation of hunger to consume the motivation of food. So, what kinds of controls are exercised during the sensation of hunger? So, are they hormonal or neural or both? Yes, exactly right answer. My dear friends, it is both hormonal and neural. So, what are the 4 systems involved in the digestive system during the hunger sensation? Yes, what are they? They are circulation, digestion and nervous system and neural. So, these are the process involved. So, when you feel hungry, so when you feel your stomach is full and there is no need of food. My dear friends, when you feel your stomach is full and there is no need of food anymore, another hormone that is leptin. So, leptin is secreted by a suppressive hunger. And what about next? So, usually we start, my dear friends, usually we take food at a particular time. Every day we usually start feeling hungry at that time. So, you may have experienced this in your school during the lunch hour. So, what is the outcome of the sensation of hunger? Yes, feeling hungry leads us to consume the food. Sometimes you may have often experienced that the stale food is outrightly rejected even before intake. So, what plays a major role to identify the stale food? If you are having suppose you imagine that if you are having a tasty dish, do you think the smell of it increases your appetite? Yes, the taste and smell are closely related. So, taste and smell are taste and smell are closely related, and this close relationship is most apparent how we preserve the flavors of the food. So, anyone with serve cough and cold cannot make out the differences in taste of the certain food items. Actually, what is really being affected is the flavor of the food or the combination of the taste and the smell. That's because only the taste, not the food odors, are being detected. So, taste itself is focused on the distinguishing the between chemicals that have a sweet, salt, sour and bitter taste. So, however, interactions between the senses of taste and smell are enhance our perceptions of the food we eat. So, let us do one activity. So, before that, this is the brain. So, just before only I told that hypothalamus. So, it is the forebrain. So, now let us do one activity. Taste and smell are closely related. So, let us do the following activity to observe how the taste is affected by the sense of the smell. So, first of all, close your nose. So, here I am closing my nose. So, close your nose with your finger and pop some zira. See, all of you look at this. This is some zira. See, and this is some zira. First of all, close your nose with your finger and pop some zira in your mouth. See. So, after that, choose some snuff. So, After that, we have to chew some snuff. So, this is the snuff. So, here I am snuffing. Could you recognize the taste? My dear friends, could you recognize the taste? No. How long has it taken to know the taste? So, what are your observations? My dear friends, what are your observations? Yes, if we want to taste the food material, the food should be dissolved in saliva, then only we can taste the food materials. It is in the form of liquid. So, my dear friends, we know that different types of taste buds are present on the tongue. Can you tell what are they? Yes, there are how many types of taste buds are there? There are 4. What are they? Yes, the first one is and salt. So, this is the taste sensitive area. So, this is bitter, sour, sweet and salty, and this bitter is present at the back side of the tongue, and sour and these present at the side of the tongue, and sweet this is present at the behind the salty taste bud, and salt this is present at the tip of the tongue. So, my dear friends, after the dissolved food enters into the cup like taste buds, and the sense of the taste is carried into the brain for analysis. So, then only we will know the taste of the food material. So, could you know the taste of the both, or did it taste the same? Why? When we smell the airborne substances, my dear friends, when we smell the airborne substances get dissolved in the watery film of nasal mucus. So, the chemoreceptors in nose are otherwise called as a olfactory receptors which trigger signals. It is in the form of nerve impulses and where the smell is detected. Similarly, as we take food into our mouth, so the taste bud sends signals to the brain picking up the slight differences in smell. The food tastes are identified in our brain. So, what happens when we put my dear friends, what happens when we put a food material in our mouth? Can you guess it? What happens? Yes, exactly right. So, mouth starts watering and saliva will be secreted. So, sometimes, my dear friends, sometimes your mouth starts watering just by hearing the names like tamarind, mango, sugar, etc. So, in general, my dear friends, so in general we perform the food materials which is attractive to our nose and flavor to nose, which is attractive to our eyes and then flavor to our nose, then we taste it. Therefore, when we eat without our knowledge, we use our sight, nose and tongue for selecting food for ingestion. So, when we eat without our knowledge, we use our tongue, we use our sight, nose and tongue for selecting food for ingestion. So, this is Russian scientist Pavlov. So, Russian scientist Pavlov has conducted experiment and found that even the thought of the food will water your mouth. So, my dear friends, this is Russian scientist Pavlov. So, Russian scientist Pavlov has conducted experiment and found that even the thought of the food will water your mouth. So, are there any other senses that affect the taste? My dear friends, are there any other senses that affect the taste? Yes, taste is something connected to the tongue and the palate. So, taste is something connected to the tongue and the palate. Taste is something connected to the tongue and the palate. So, all of you look at this picture, this is papillae. So, let us do one, see this is tongue and the palate. So, now we will do one activity. Let us do a simple activity to see a role of different parts of the mouth in helping us to taste. So, first of all, place some sugar crystal. So, I want to do one activity for that. See, all of you look at this. This is some sugar crystals. So, this is some sugar crystals. Place some sugar crystals in your mouth. So, here I am placing the some sugar crystals in my mouth. And see that and keep your mouth open and see that your tongue doesn't touch the palate. So, for example, here my mouth is open like this, so here my tongue doesn't touch the palate. So, record the time from the moment you place the crystals on your tongue till you got the taste using the stopwatch. Now repeat the same taste by placing sugar crystals on your tongue and pressing it against the palate and record your time. Can you taste and dry tongue? So, my dear friends, once again I will explain to you this activity. So, first of all, place some sugar crystals in your mouth and see that keep your mouth open and see that your tongue doesn't touch the palate. So, record the time from the moment you placed on the crystals on your tongue till you got the taste by using stopwatch. So, again we have to repeat the taste. Now, repeat the taste by placing the sugar crystals on your tongue and pressing it against the palate and record the time. So, my dear friends, can you taste and dry tongue? No. Which way help you taste in the food? In which way help you taste food and why? So, based on the above activity, my dear friends, we know that the taste can be identified easily when the tongue is pressed against the palate. So, as we know, the tongue is a sensory in functions and contains taste buds, and these taste buds are tiny in papillae with an opening on top. So, within them there are several taste sensitive cells. So, my dear friends, any food substances when we placed on the tongue, it gets dissolved in the saliva secreted by the salivary glands in the mouth. So, when the tongue is pressed against the palate, the food substances and the food substances also gets against the opening of the taste bud and letting it to reach the taste cells and triggering to the taste signals. Finally, the taste is recognized in our brain. So, my dear friends, what do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if the salivary glands do not function in our mouth? Can anybody tell? Yes. And another question for you all. Suppose your taste buds were affected, what would happen to your interest in having food? So, to taste the food, my dear friends, to taste the food material, nose, mouth, tongue and brain are involved, and the taste of the food can be preserved by the coordination in of these four processes. So, this is first the nose, and then from the nose we can get the olfactory receptors, and from the nose we can smell, and mouth. From the mouth we can say the salivary glands and tongue, and these taste buds from the nose, mouth and tongue, and these taste buds are connected to the brain, and then only we can taste the food material. So, otherwise we can't eat. So, my dear friends, suppose if we want to do any work, or something, so our body should be dependent on others to keep the body in coordination. So, my dear friends, so in our daily process, suppose just you are imagine that if suppose the coordination process will be not there, what will happen? If you are able to do any work? No, we can't do any work. Suppose just now I said example for you, when we are crossing the road. So, suppose when we are crossing the road, my ears and eyes and legs should coordinate with each other, otherwise I may hit a person. So, my dear friends, every process there is a need, and every process it should be in coordination. So, I think all of you know the definition of the coordination. So, what is coordination? The synchronization between the different organs of the body, so that they can work together in harmony to perform the vital activities of our life process are called coordination. So, my dear friends, today we learned about that coordination in life process. My dear friends, are you thinking that coordination is very important in our life? Yes, exactly right answer. So, coordination is very important in our life process. So, once again, let me summarize the whole lesson. First, what we have learned. Can anybody get up? Yes, my dear Sparrow, we have learned first that our human body is called as a wonderful machine. Did you know why we call as a wonderful machine? Yes, because number of process takes place within our body. So, why this process occurs in our body? Yes, this process helps in the continuation and survival of the living organisms and continuation in its race. So, can you tell some examples of the life process? Yes, exactly right answer. What are they? They are digestion, excretion, respiration and etc. So, these are the some life process. And so, just before, and what about reproduction? Yes, reproduction is also helps in the continuation of survival of its bird. So, my dear friends, did you know where all this process occurs? Yes, all this process occurs in our body by specific systems like digestive system, respiratory system, etc., which are inbuilt in our body. So, which are inbuilt in our body at their specific places and carry out their specific functions in a coordinated manner. So, my dear friends, we have studied each of this in process. My dear friends, we have studied each of this process in detail, nearly in isolation as a except and chapter. So, we have learned each of this system. So, when we are doing this all the life process and they should be coordinated with each others, otherwise our body cannot survive. So, every process is dependent on other to keep the body in good condition. So, let us give an example. So, just now I told that one example, kicking a ball. So, kicking a ball. So, what are the organs involved? Yes, that is eyes. Eyes helps to knowing the person to kick a ball, and legs, muscles and legs muscles, it helps us to kick a ball, and nervous system. So, nervous system is also help a ball to kick the. So, nervous system also it helps the to kick a position of the ball. So, my dear friends, so here to perform one activity. So, just now only we done one activity. So, to perform one activity, all the coordination. So, here all the functions like eyes and legs, muscles and nervous system should coordinate with each other. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Sparrow?
Hello.
Hello,
Hello,
Sparrow.
I'm Sravanti Sparrow from Gowlidoddi.
Okay, tell me, Sparrow. Tell me your doubt, please, Sparrow.
Could you please explain that PPT again? Show the PPT again, please.
And from first onwards. So, the first one is life process. So, what are the life process? So, these are the digestion, respiration, circulation, reproduction, excretion. So, these are the life process which are takes place in our body. So, what are life process? Living organisms have some basic process that occurs in the body cells of organism. So, these process helps in the survival and perpetuation of its race. Such process are called life process. So, here the kicking a football. So, here we are doing one act, for example, for the coordination, for example, kicking a football. So, if you want to kick a football, what are the organs involved? Yes, eyes, and so eyes helps it's knowing the position of the ball to kick, and the next legs and skeletal legs and muscles and skeletal system to kick a ball, and nervous system to stimulate the muscles to contract, and the bones of the legs should to kick a ball. So from these, to perform one activity, my dear friends, to perform one activity, all the functions like eyes and legs and muscle system, nervous system should work